It is my favorite time of year. The villainous glimmers linger in the ether. Everything is decorated in spooky fashions, and I love it, Rebecca.
Oh, Bartleby, this time makes me so anxious and excited all at once. You never know what kind of a surprise is going to be around the corner.
Our Lord Chernobog looms over all from on high, his malevolence spreading through all of Lorcana.
Long may he reign.
Hey, happy Halloween.
It's a spooky season.
It's spooky season.
I love hearing from Rebecca and Bartleby.
Yeah, they had asked us to record an introduction for this episode, and we weren't sure why. And we both forgot, like fools, that their favorite holiday is Halloween.
You wouldn't expect it. They're so prim and proper, but for some reason they like the spooky, they like the pranks, they like, I don't know, usurping the order that they usually instill.
I think they like the elegance of fear. You know? I think they enjoy how crisp and beautiful fear is.
Well, that's a perfect introduction for our spooky episode for the spooky October season.
Spooky S'morcana!
The cafe is bedecked in cobwebs and jack-o'-lanterns and all kinds of orange and creepy paraphernalia.
I'm Katie.
I'm Brett.
And welcome to S'morcana. Though it be spooky, it still be a beautiful cafe with lots of tasty foods.
Halloween being a season that is famous for its snacks. For what is candy, if not the most delectable and convenient of snack?
For what is candy corn, if not the best kind of candy?
And the best kind of corn.
Oh.
No, I don't think that's true. I like candy corn, but I don't think it's the best kind of corn.
Well, we'd have to consult our corn expert for the real news on that.
I'm sure that he's ready and raring for any kind of corn, candy or otherwise. What's going on in the world of Lorcana, Katie?
OMG. So it is a time of spooky spirits, but it is also a time of higher spirits around here because we went to some set champs this weekend. I competed in 1 on Saturday. Brett competed in 2 on Saturday and Sunday. I had a pretty good day. I came in 3rd on Saturday. Got another Mirabelle. Very happy about that. Brett, how did you do?
I won on Saturday. And then I got another mat on Sunday. I lost 1 round all weekend, and I feel like I'm bragging a bit here, but I think it's fair because I think I've told everybody about my travails. I think I've told everybody about my stumbles and all of the times that I have come really close and not made the cut or whatever. And so I am just really happy that I kind of crossed a finish line. And I feel like some variance that was kind of going against me some of the time all swung my way this weekend. I felt really good about my play. And yeah, it came through. And I was able to pass down the mat on Sunday, which was really, really cool. I was happy to do that. I want to start that trend. Like, if you have a mat, you don't need another one, everybody. Just pass it down to the next person who doesn't have one, please.
Yeah, don't be modest about that. Make it rain, mats. It's awesome. I am so proud of you. I'm so happy that it worked out with your favorite pet deck.
Sapphire Steel, baby.
Blue Steel for the win.
Thanks, Sky. If you listened to last week's episode, you know that I was A, really frustrated at my performance last week in Set Champs, and B, was really frustrated with my performance with Sapphire Steel. And Sky came on and gave us all of these great tips, and I hope I put them to use. It seems like, it definitely helped. I found myself considering some of the things that he had said on our podcast. So, that goes to show you what a great player he is, that he could have that kind of impact in just like a half-hour interview about his favorite deck.
It also goes to show how important it is to, chat with folks about Lorcana and to take that feedback on games that you have, even if you lose or win or whatever, to get that feedback from other players can be really helpful, even if it's just seeing it from another perspective. Even if you don't do what they told you to do. I mean, that's not necessarily the case with Sky, but still, even if someone points out a bunch of wrong things, that can help too.
Yeah, it just goes to show you how important it is to kind of check in with all of your preconceptions about a deck or about a line of play and making sure that you're always reevaluating, you're always taking into account what other folks are saying. It's always great to turn to folks who are better and smarter than you, right?
So this is great energy to kind of propel us into Seattle this weekend.
Yes, absolutely. I am riding on a high for sure. I feel like I understand the meta and I feel like I understand my deck that I'm probably going to play. And so, yeah, feeling really good. You must be feeling really good too. You went to 2 set champs and you were 2 for 2 on Mirabelle's.
Yeah, and I did a lot better yesterday at yesterday's set champ than I had done 2 weekends before that in Portsmouth. So I feel like I'm getting better with the deck. Every time I play, I figure out more things and I, learn from all those mistakes. And I felt myself even being able to learn at the last set champs too, stopping after my games and thinking about what went differently, what I could have done differently. I think a lot of times when I'm playing Lorcana, I just kind of get in the zone and I have a hard time reflecting on it later. I have a hard time remembering what all the choices were because I'm thinking so much in the moment. And then once it's done, it's such a relief and then I just move on. So I made a conscious effort this time to remember what I had played and how the games went and what choices I made and why. So it sounds really obvious, but that definitely, it helped. It helped to kind of change my personal mindset about it.
Yeah, it's great to see progress, right? In a game like this, it's not always linear. You just got to keep progressing, try to take away something from your wins and from your losses. Get a little bit better every tournament.
Yeah, we're having a blast. So it looks like there's a specialty spooky menu today at the cafe. So it looks like for an appetizer here, we have some spooky loaded nachos.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that's all about.
Okay, I'm down.
And then for our main course, they've made a cake, like a huge cake that's in the shape of the Haunted Mansion ride.
Ooh,
I know.
Very cool.
I'm curious of what the cake is. Is it red velvet? Is it like a ghosty gray? I don't know. We're going to have to see when we open it up. And then as always, we've got a beautiful dream card.
And then we'll get you on your way to your trick-or-treating. What do you say? Let's head on in.
Whoa, what is this?
It's like a skeletal hand knocker to get into the cafe.
Yeah, I think we have to knock.
All right, let's see here. Good evening, Catherine and Breton, and welcome to the S'morcana Cafe on this most diabolical evening.
Don't be afraid. Step right in.
Oh, I can't even see anything in here. It's like all candlelit and eerie.
Cold in here too.
Yes, we've been decorating.
I mean, it looks beautiful. You guys.
Yeah, you did a great job, I have to say. It's quite thorough, and it's really cold in here.
We've been preparing all year. It's our favorite holiday.
It is our favorite holiday.
Ooh.
We've been practicing our spooky noises.
Ooh.
Rebecca's become quite adept.
Caw, caw, caw.
That's a raven. That's a mummy who has risen from his sarcophagus. I'm not sure what that is, but she's been working very hard at it. That was quite good.
That was amazing.
Yeah, really good job, Rebecca.
Sounded like a really good vampire at the end.
Oh, yeah, maybe was that what that was, Rebecca?
I mean, that's what I gleaned from it.
Yes, of course it was.
Right, of course. So, yeah, we're ready for whatever you're gonna throw at us tonight. We're game.
We shall begin with the loaded spooky nachos.
Ooh, look at these. All right. Oh, they're nachos that have been decorated in the visages of the 10 scariest Lorcana cards.
What? The 10 scariest Lorcana cards?
The 10 scariest Lorcana card nachos.
How many times can you say 10 scariest Lorcana cards?
We said that from the beginning we were going to push, food metonymy to new heights, and I think we've done that. And
here we are. So we've highlighted 10 of the scariest Lorcana cards. Now this could be scary art. It could be scary in how they're played. It could be scary character, anything.
They're just inexplicably scary.
Exactly.
And this is indisputable anyway, so don't even try to argue.
Don't even try. Speaking of indisputable, at number 10 is Be King Undisputed.
A scary card.
Oh, terrifying.
Scar is looking frightening.
Also, that song is so scary, and using that phrase as the name of the card is like so cool and gives you a little chill.
Green uplight is really, really interesting. Ooh. I mean, I know from lighting design, green light coming from below a face is the most unnatural kind of light to the human eye. So, like, it is very deliberately an unnatural, spooky-looking card.
Yeah.
And that's not to say anything of its effect, which is also pretty scary.
Also pretty scary.
You always have to play around that card, right? Like, if you're playing against Ruby Amethyst in particular, you have to just assume that they have that card and try to protect your characters with smaller characters, provide that little bit of a buffer so that you don't lose a really important piece to a sung Be King Undisputed.
And just pray that you're not playing against someone who's really good at playing it, because it always gets you in the end.
It is a scary card for sure.
What's number 9, Brett?
Number 9, the 9th scariest card is Diablo.
Ooh, hard agree.
Ooh.
Yikes.
Because if I saw like a toxic green bird soaring through the air and like dive bombing and like spying on like young women in cottages.
Yeah, no way. No thanks. It's also the effect and knowing what the rest of that game's going to be like for you is also scary. When someone plays Diablo, you know it's a green steel deck and you know it's not going to be good.
Never like to see that card across from you. Always scary because if you don't handle it, if you don't reject that Diablo, if you don't send him on the way to the discard pile as quickly as you possibly can, things will get out of hand. I just want to reiterate here also. We're talking about this monochromatic neon green bird whose job it is to spy on young women through windows. That's creepy. That's scary. That's like stalker movie behavior.
Yeah, we don't like Diablo. No one walks out as Sleeping Beauty and says, Diablo's my favorite character. He's scary and creepy. Some people might walk out and say, Maleficent's my favorite character, but they're not going to say Diablo is their favorite character.
And you know what? If a Lorcana player says that Diablo is their favorite card,
get out of here.
I'm like suspicious of that person who's like, yeah, Diablo's my absolute favorite card.
I'm sure there are those people.
Are you out there? Person, if you are out there and you're like, Diablo is the absolute bomb diggity and I only ever want to play Diablo, like, we need to interview you.
Yeah, let us know.
We need to try to help.
We'll have a doctor here for you.
What's the 8th scariest card?
Number 8 is Ursula, Sea Witch. Now, this is an underused card.
There are a lot of Ursula, so which Ursula is the scariest Ursula here?
Yeah, so this is the Amethyst 3-cost uninkable, 3/3, Dreamborn Villain Sorcerer. She quests for 1, and she has the ability, You're Too Late. Whenever this character quests, chosen opposing character can't ready at the start of their next turn. And her flavor text is, The secret contract has already been written. Now, that card is, fine. It traps a character, essentially, right, whenever it quests.
It paralyzes them with fear.
It has not great stats, but its art is so scary. It's Ursula, like, bursting through a wedding dress. And then there's like a giant Ursula behind her, and it's kind of like raining, and it's really scary. She's got lightning coming out of her hands. It's really freaky.
That is a horrifying Ursula, and there are many horrifying Ursulas, but I think you're right that there's a lot going on there. She has, like you said, burst out of this like wedding dress and like the lightning and the shadows. It's like, ooh. She really does look like a witch of the sea.
Yeah, terrifying and awful. Usually she looks like kind of cool and like sassy and mean, but she's like kind of ugly in this and just scary and terrible.
This looks like she ate a bride on her wedding day and then blasted all of the wedding guests with lightning.
Yeah.
It's like serial killer Ursula.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Like that's what Ursula does in her basement.
Yes, probably.
Yeah, a little bit scary.
What's number 7?
Number 7, a little bit of a retread from number 10 here, but it's Be Prepared. That song, once again, very, very scary. But here I think this is more for the effect.
Yeah, this is, I guess, it could be a retread in the sense that the art is similar and the moment in the movie is similar and also scary. But this card has the same kind of effect on you like a Diablo does, right? Where if someone plays it, you feel like, oh my gosh, the whole game is shifted. You're praying that they don't play it.
You're constantly worried about it.
Yep, and when it comes down, it's not good. You're never like, oh, I'm so glad my opponent played Be Prepared. Like, what?
And you have the creeping dread, I think, when you're facing Ruby Amethyst, and they're just ticking up 1 ink every turn, and that 7 ink moment is approaching 1 turn at a time.
Yes.
It's like you know that the Be Prepared is going to be knocking on your door in just 2 turns, and it's horrifying.
Terrifying.
How about number 6?
Number 6 is Monstro. Monstro the Whale. We just opened up a whole box, which you won from your set champ win.
Ooh.
And we played some pack rushes, and you had a Monstro in your pack rush, and it was so good.
Oh, it was amazing. I also had the Sword Released, which is the item that if at the start of your turn you control a character with strength higher than all of your opponent's characters, you basically steal a lore from them. So Monstro combined with that in pack rush was very strong because he's got 5 strength.
Yeah, he's a 5/6, so he's a big boy. And he eats Pinocchio.
Whole.
So...
Swallows him whole.
So...
Gigantic whale. His name is Monstro.
Yep.
He's got big teeth.
Uh-huh.
He doesn't care for kelp. He doesn't care about plankton.
Krill.
No, he wants wooden puppet boys. You better not be one, because if you're a wooden puppet boy, Monstro is coming for you.
He eats one thing, and it's wooden puppet boys.
And it's that kind of single-mindedness that I think is particularly horrifying.
I really like calling Pinocchio wooden puppet boy.
That's what he is.
I know it is. What's number 5?
Number 5. Now, these are a little bit less obvious. I think everything so far has been real monstrous, you know?
For sure.
Number 5, scariest card in Lorcana is Boss's Orders.
Number 5, yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
Can you tell us what is depicted on Boss's Orders, Katie?
You all know. You all know at home. You know what this card is. Mr. Snoop's big bottom. Shoving it out of a window. Right at you as you're looking at the card. It's right at you.
Yeah.
Does he have a purpose? Is he doing something? I don't know. And whatever he's doing isn't good.
It's useless.
He's the crony for this terrible woman who steals children and makes them find diamonds. And he, works for her in a suit. And he's, kind of noodling out of this window at you. It's terrible.
And he's shoving his butt directly in your face.
Yeah, it's a nightmare.
It's a true nightmare. I mean, it's not the kind of traditional nightmare that you might see depicted in a horror movie on your TV this season, but it is a nightmare nonetheless.
Yeah, we don't like him and find that card to be very scary.
It's a horrifying man with a horrifying derriere, and he's shoving that horrifying derriere directly into your face.
Yeah.
To no effect in the game.
Yeah, that card will never be played. It will never see play because who could put it in their deck? Who could be like, boy, I'm going to sleeve up all my boss's orders. I'm so jazzed about it.
I kind of want to do it now.
I know you do. I know you do.
And also, you can just give a character support. I think you can give it's just chosen character. So you could totally just be like, I'm going to play boss's orders on your Tinkerbell. And your opponent will be like, What?
What do you mean?
Yeah, look, this is happening now.
Oh boy, you won't believe what I just top decked.
Boss's Orders.
Boss's Orders.
You know, the one with Mr. Snoop's butt in the window. All right, let's get into something a little bit more traditional here, something more expected, because I think this is one that absolutely had to be on the list. A slam dunk. What is the 4th scariest Lorcana card?
Chernabog.
The Chernabog.
Chernabog's scary.
Yeah. Did you ever, I'm just saying hypothetically, fall asleep watching Fantasia as a child, and then suddenly wake up during the Chernobog scene at the end of it and get really, really scared and maybe like throw your remote control and run out of your bedroom and cry to your parents?
Nope, never happened to me.
Oh. Anybody? Just me? Just me, huh?
Yeah, that's very scary.
A scary scene.
Yep.
Also
Super
a scary card.
Yeah, a very powerful card. And when you see your opponent start to count up their discard pile, they start shuffling through it, you're like...
Yeah. Yeah, when you're facing an opponent who's playing Amber and they're just like kind of surreptitiously counting all of the characters in their discard pile and trying to look nonchalant about it, that's horrifying. You know what's coming.
Yeah,
it's going to be a free Chernobog.
Nope.
Get ready to eat 9 quest for 3 of stats for free, because it's happening.
Yike. All right, Brett, what's number 3?
The third scariest card, Dive Bomb.
Oh.
Imagine this. You are on a Costa Rican veranda, and a bird of paradise swoops out of the sky at speed, opens its jaws, at which point you notice that it has a full set of human chompers.
Yes.
And it's coming straight for your face.
Yeah.
It's like Hitchcock on steroids.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
Do you know what's scarier than the birds?
Dive bomb.
The birds with teeth.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
Woof.
Oof.
So imagine, she's looking out the window and there's all the birds on the jungle gym and whatever, except then they all smile and they all have human teeth.
Gosh.
That's horrifying.
I can't.
That's dive bomb.
I can't live like this.
That's dive bomb.
I can't think about that way.
You have to.
Oh, no.
That's our job as
this
podcasters.
Is terrible.
We said that we would talk about the 10 scariest cards. That's our job.
What a burden.
That we're bearing for all of you.
You're welcome, everybody.
All right. What about the second scariest card?
The second scariest Lorcana card is Bucky.
Bucky's gone. Bucky's errated. He will never see the light of day. Why is he scary?
He gone?
What?
Is he gone?
What did you say?
Bucky's not gone. You think Bucky's gone? Bucky's been here the whole time. Bucky never left.
Oh my god. Burn the Buckies. Burn them. Burn them! Zombie Bucky!
He's back!
The second scariest card in Lorcana is the concept of the return of Bucky.
Indeed it is. Zombie Bucky could be a thing. He could come back from the dead. We don't know.
I remember seeing Bucky fly through the air and nip at people's jugulars with those gigantic front teeth. Is it just teeth that I'm afraid of? I'm just afraid of teeth, I think.
You might be afraid of teeth, actually. You might really be afraid of teeth.
I might actually be afraid of teeth. Maybe I am.
You might actually be afraid of teeth.
Listeners, this might be TMI, but sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and I have a real serious need for Katie to make sure that my teeth are still in my head.
Yeah, that's keep this in the podcast or not. That's real. I think you're scared of teeth. A little bit. Yeah,
well, I always have these nightmares about, my teeth being gone or, falling out or, turning into other things.
Yeah, you get really nervous about the dentist, too.
Oh,
and,
yeah,
your teeth being okay.
And dive bombs, really scary to me. I think I'm scared of teeth.
I
think the scariest part of Bucky is his teeth, too. So,
yeah.
Wow. Well, we're learning stuff about ourselves as we make this, which is, that's valuable. That's valuable. We don't get paid for this.
No way.
We have absolutely no monetary return from this. So we have to benefit from it in more psychological ways.
And we have. All right, Brett, it's time. The number 1 certified scariest Lorcana card of all time is...
I can't just come right out and say it. I need to paint a picture. I need to be a storyteller.
Wow.
All right. Picture this, everybody.
We're ready.
It's a cool fall evening. There's a fog rolling in off the bay. Can't see more than 15 feet in front of you. Just have the glow of some streetlights as you walk home from work at night. Been a long night. Quiet in this little seaside town. Walking by a graveyard. Everything is so still. It's really peaceful. But then something moves. Something small. And with the alacrity of a cat and the preternatural ninja acumen of a seasoned warrior, Noi, the stupid ninja baby, starts flipping towards you. It is a ninja baby with bright, alarming eyes who wants to kill you.
Yeah.
That is Noi.
Wow.
That is horrifying. Look at those cards. Look at the Noi cards.
I know.
And then think to yourself, would I ever want to be alone with that creature?
No. What I will tell you is that Noi doesn't have any teeth. So what does that mean?
It just goes to show you how scary Noi is. You know what I think about? I think about Stephen King's It. And there is this moment where, as adults, the characters who were disturbed by it as children are confronted with the uncanny. There's this kind of before and after where they've blocked all of the trauma that they experienced as children out, and then they are re-confronted with the supernatural cosmic entity that is it, and it completely screws up their worldview. Like, everything shifts for them in that moment. There's the before and after. Before, where everything is normal and you think you can corral the world, and then after the uncanny, where you don't know what to believe. That's what happens when you look at Noi.
Wow. That was really deep.
It's deep, and I think it goes to show why I find it so unsettling, so disturbing, so disgusting, such a blight upon both Disney and Lorcana.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
The number one scariest card, Noi. All iterations, past, present, and future.
I'm afraid to say anything. You think so strongly about Noi that it's hard.
Do you think there's anything scarier?
I think that maybe you need to have a podcast episode where it's just Noi. You just discuss your feelings about Noi. I feel like you could go for a whole hour on it.
If anybody wants to join me as a special guest to talk about how terrible Noi is for a solid 45 to an hour, you just let us know, s'morcana@gmail.com.
What if Noi comes on to join? To talk.
Please no. Please don't
She
even.
could.
There are certain things that you don't want to bring them up because you're afraid that it'll speak itself into existence. It's like Voldemort, you know? You don't say such a thing.
The baby who must not be named.
The baby who must not be named. And besides, I'm not the one who made these nachos. Noi is the number one scariest nacho. I'm looking at it right now, so don't blame me.
Well, scary or not, these nachos were delicious.
Yes, scrumdiddlyumptious.
Spookdiddlyumptious.
Want to get on to our main course?
I would love to.
I hope you've enjoyed your nachos and that they were wickedly spooky. And now we present a special cake made in the shape of our beloved abode.
Oh my gosh. Wait, do Bartleby and Rebecca?
No, we don't. It's just something we like to say.
Oh.
We're just play acting. It's a little bit of a treat for us around this time of year.
Yes, we love pretending that we're someone that we're not. It's good fun, but tomorrow it's right back to our business.
Well, it seems like you two are having an absolute blast. It's nice to see you come out of your shells a little bit and enjoy yourselves.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
We'll leave you to it. I hope that you find the cake drop dead delicious.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Wow, let's cut into this.
Look at this. Wow, inside of this cake is an entire segment about the Haunted Mansion.
Whoa!
Look at all of these cool facts.
The Haunted Mansion is a classic ride, classic spooky Disney ride. So it felt very appropriate to have a little bet you didn't know about Diz about the Haunted Mansion. A little history drop.
This is a ride that I was way too scared to go on for much of my childhood. And now I've come to absolutely love how beautiful and macabre it is in there.
Yes. So let's go back a peg. Disneyland Park in Anaheim, California, opens in 1955. As a part of the marketing for Disneyland Park, they advertised that they were going to have Critter Country as a land in Disneyland. They were going to have New Orleans Square, and they were going to have Frontierland. Now, joining all these lands together in New Orleans Square was going to be a pirate history walkthrough. So you would walk through a museum, like a wax museum in essence, of famous pirates from the past, and a haunted house walkthrough. And it's important to note here that it was a walkthrough. This is going to be an opening day attraction in Disneyland. Here's a quick question for you, Brett. Was Haunted Mansion an opening ride in Disneyland?
No.
It was not. It did not open in Disneyland until 1969. We'll get into that in a minute. It opened at Disneyland in 1969. It opened in Walt Disney World as an opening day attraction because after a minute, they were like, this is good enough. It's got to open up with Disney World. This is going to be big. So it opens in 1971 as an opening day attraction. And when they opened Tokyo Disneyland in 1983, it's an opening day attraction there too.
So a real kind of backbone attraction for all the parks.
Oh my gosh. It's also currently in Disneyland Paris. It's not called the Haunted Mansion. It's called Phantom Manor. And it's open in Hong Kong Disneyland, but it's called Mystic Manor.
Okay.
Same general idea. They're just
Spooky house.
Yes, spooky house. Each mansion is different. They're not all the same, right? Those two have different names, and even the three that are all called Haunted Mansion are not exactly the same. If you've been so fortunate to ride more than one Haunted Mansion in your life, you know that they're not the same. The general story tends to be the same, but the ride mechanics and the ride vehicles and kind of how it's laid out is a little bit different. The outside of it is a little bit different as well, the way that it's dressed to the public. It is in a different land in Disneyland and Disney World and in Tokyo Disneyland. So in Disneyland, it's in New Orleans Square, like I was saying, and it's meant to look like an unkempt southern manor. It just looks like a house. Nothing spooky about it from the outside, right?
Mm-hmm.
In Walt Disney World, it's in Liberty Square. There, it looks a little bit spooky.
Yeah, set back a little bit more foreboding for sure.
It's darker, right? In New Orleans Square in Disneyland, it's white and it's like a beautiful, like, southern plantation kind of manor. But in Liberty Square, it definitely has that. It's been overgrown for a long time and hasn't really been kept up. In Tokyo, it's in Fantasyland.
What?
I know.
Okay, do tell.
Isn't that freaky?
Yes.
It's in Fantasyland. They don't have, they don't have a New Orleans Square. They don't have a Liberty Square.
Those are kind of distinctly American lands, so I guess that makes sense.
Right, and it is fantastical.
Definitely.
There's ghosts in it, and they take you on this crazy adventure, and they just plopped it in Fantasyland. It's very funny for us to think about it with our American minds about it being in Fantasyland, because to us, Fantasyland is like Peter Pan and Small World and Dumbo.
Bright, colorful pink things.
And Haunted Mansion.
Here, come on, everybody. We'll go on It's a Small World, and then right next door is the Haunted Mansion.
Yes.
Our 5-year-old niece will love that.
Yes. So let me take you on a little adventure here, on a little tour, on a little ghost tour, some could say, to the lore of Haunted Mansion and a little bit of a ride through of the Haunted Mansion. If you've not been on it before, I'm going to take you on a little trip. I will take you through the Walt Disney World version of the Haunted Mansion. So when you arrive at the ride, you walk through a cemetery. There is an active queue in Disney World, so you can interact with it. You can make sounds go off. You can touch things and make them do things. They remodeled it in 2007 to have that effect. It used to just be a normal line.
So what do you mean you can touch things and make sounds and things?
So when you're walking through the line, you can touch the gravestones and make them make sounds or make them do things.
Oh, cool.
If you wave your hand, something will happen. This was a trend that they did at the end of the 2000s where they changed Winnie the Pooh's line so that it was more interactive. Now you can touch a wall full of honey. It makes it move. The Soarin' line is interactive. There are a lot of interactive cues in Disney World.
Start the ride in the line.
Exactly.
Okay, so that kind of started with Haunted Mansion.
Indeed. So you walk through this graveyard. Then you go into a lobby and right into a room. They huddle everybody that's in line into this room. And you all cuddle in close. And then this voice comes over and says that the room is stretching.
And that there are no windows and no doors.
Yes, so you are trapped in this mansion. You don't know where to go. As a little behind-the-scenes note here, the room actually stretches in either Disney World or Disneyland. Which do you think it is? Where does the room actually stretch?
In Disney World, I'm going to guess it stretches.
Yes. So in Disney World, you're not actually going down an elevator or any kind of a lift. The room itself stretches before your eyes. In Disneyland, when the room stretches, you're actually going in an elevator down to the second floor where the ride is.
Okay, so they had to kind of modify it between the two parks to make it fit like geography or topography or whatever.
Right, so that's another example of things having way more space in Disney World than they did in Disneyland, right? Disneyland, they have to build the ride under the house, but in Disney World, they don't have to worry about that as much. They have all that space.
Gotcha.
They can just make the ride happen. So you go through all these spooky hallways and all these spooky rooms, and there's people knocking on doors. You can see the shadows of ghosts, and then you end up in Madame Leota's seance room, and she uses a crystal ball to kind of bring all the ghosts to life. Now, this story is a little bit loose, and there's a lot of debate over what exactly the story is of the Haunted Mansion, but she makes the ghosts come to life and appear in front of you, so it's not just creepy sounds and creepy lights and creaks and stuff that you're hearing. Then you go into this ballroom, you see all these ghosts that appear and disappear at like a whim. You can't tell how they're doing it.
It's Pepper's ghost, right?
It is Pepper's ghost, yeah. So they're using an old theater trick from like the 1800s of essentially using lights and mirrors to make something look like it's there and then make it look like it's not there. So they can make it look like these animatronic ghosts are dancing on a ballroom floor, and then they pull the mirror away or, turn off the light, and then they're not there anymore.
Right. So Pepper's ghost used to be you'd have an actor off stage and then a piece of glass on stage that was angled in such a way that if you lit the off-stage actor, that light would reflect off of that actor, off of the piece of glass, and out to the audience's eyes. So it would look transparent, but then all of a sudden reflecting off of that glass, you see the image of the actor. So it looks like a ghost.
Super cool. So you go through that, you go into an attic where there's usually a bride who has murdered all of her husbands, and then you pop out backwards into a graveyard. That's the end of the ride. Now, this is where people say that you die.
Woo.
And you're popping out of the house, like someone's thrown you out of the house and you die, and so that's why you're in the graveyard.
Wow.
I know, right?
That's extra spooky.
Some people say you just ran away because at the end they say, hurry back, bring your death certificate. So it's like, not dead, but they're waiting for you to die and come back and join the mansion, or you are dead and you've joined them. It's tough to tell, but it's super spooky. It's a ride you have to ride during the daytime, in my opinion.
It's
too scary.
A little bit wild at night, for sure.
So it was tricky, right, to strike that balance to have such a scary ride. Because it's a park that's made for everyone, right? It's not just made for kids, but it's definitely spooky. So how did they even come up with this idea? Where does this idea even come from for a haunted mansion?
It's not something that you'd expect Disney to be like, yes, we must have this in all of our parks. So yeah, I'm curious to know.
Right. So this was an idea they had way back before they even had the idea for Disneyland.
Whoa.
They've been wanting to build this for a long time. This really famous Imagineer, Harper Goff, had drawn this, like a little haunted mansion, as a part of a sketch for Mickey Mouse Park. So Mickey Mouse Park was what Disneyland ended up becoming. When Walt Disney had his studio in Burbank, he wanted to make some kind of a way for people to come and interact with Mickey and bring their families, right? He was meeting with all these people, all these studio executives, and he wanted them to have a way to enjoy his property, right? Enjoy his Mickey Mouse, enjoy all that
his
stuff.
Intellectual property. Yeah.
Exactly. And then be able to still have meetings with people and have them just enjoy it and be kind of swept away by the magic of it all. So it was going to be called Mickey Mouse Park. It was going to be right across the street from his studio. It ended up obviously becoming so big that he needed more land, which is why he went to the orange groves in Anaheim. But anyways, Harper Goff had drawn this little haunted mansion like across the street and was like, and Walt's like, what is that? And he's like, I don't know. It's like a little spooky house. People could walk through and have spooky times. And everybody's like, what? Walt Disney obviously loved it and was like, that's so great. So they assign Ken Anderson to build Haunted Mansion. When they get to Disneyland, they're like, okay, it's time for Disneyland. We're going to add that Haunted Mansion thing into New Orleans Square. It's all set. Walt Disney's like, hold on, I don't want it to look ugly.
What?
Disneyland's pretty. I don't want this to look like a weird, broken, old, spooky town house.
So a pristine ghost house.
Indeed, which is really nice because it's really misleading when you look at it, too.
Definitely.
And it definitely blends in with New Orleans Square, right? It just looks like a beautiful New Orleans home. So he wanted them to base it on the Winchester Mystery House in San Jose, California.
Aha.
Yeah. Like a fancy house where, you know, it's a little bit spooky, but it's not one of those, like, there's an old cowboy standing out front and it's a little bit broken. And
Sure.
you go inside and get scared.
Winchester Mystery House, correct me if I'm wrong, but the gist of it is it's the widow of the guy who invented the Winchester rifle, and she kind of had this idea that if she ever stopped building the house, that she would like not be fulfilling his wishes or something, and so she obsessively added things onto the house like stairways into walls and doors that open to pits and weird things throughout the house, right? So it's more unnerving than it is like decrepit.
Exactly, right. And it has that same idea of a widow who's kind of haunting the house, right? Who can't stop and who can't leave the house. Really cool, really spooky. I definitely want to see that house sometime. So they didn't get to make Haunted Mansion until 1969, like we were saying before, right? It went through all these different changes. Walt Disney died in 1966. They still hadn't totally landed on it. You know, when Disneyland opened, it wasn't quite ready. They had made plans to make it a walk-through museum, but they were also discovering that they needed to get guests through these rides really quickly, so they didn't have time for people to walk through things. That's why Pirates became not a walk-through pirate museum. It became a boat ride so they could just keep shoveling people through. They're also really concerned in Disney about being able to control what people can see. So when you're letting people walk through something and look at whatever they want to look at in whatever order they want to look at it in, you don't have as much control over the story.
Definitely. And you don't have as much control over the atmosphere, right? Like, because you can hide lights and effects and things and do things like Pepper's Ghost that wouldn't be achievable if folks can kind of wander wherever they want to.
Exactly. So they made a lot of changes. They had a million Imagineers working on this ride, and then it finally opened in 1969. When they were building it in 1969, they built the one for Disney World, too. They made duplicates of all the animatronics that they were making for Disneyland for Disney World, because they figured, this is going to be a hit, and we're already making it. We might as well make it over there, too.
Awesome. So they ended up with kind of simultaneous releases in Walt Disney World and Disneyland.
They had maybe, a year to kind of figure out how to operate it in Disneyland, but it was, like, said and done, definitely going to happen in Disney World.
So it took a long time from kind of conception, which was before Disneyland was even a thing, to finally opening in 1969.
Took a long time, and I think it's definitely well worth the wait. It, has a very Disney twist on a spooky house. I'm not a person personally who enjoys haunted houses normally, or enjoys a universal haunted night spooky time, but there's that nice balance of funny and scary, right? And that came from Mark Davis and Claude Coates, who couldn't quite agree. One of them really wanted it to be spooky, one of them really wanted it to be funny, and it was that clear collaboration that made it what it is, right? When someone's trying to get out of a coffin, they're like, hello, anybody out there, help me? And it's like a very silly voice paired with something that's very scary to look at. So it does help a little bit. And there are some of the ghosts, especially at the end, that are really silly looking, and they have like the detached heads that are singing silly songs.
So Mark Davis and Claude Coates ended up being kind of chief production designers or something?
Yeah, I mean, they were kind of the production designers on a million things. They were Imagineers who had their hands on countless things in Disney World and Disneyland. Ken Anderson was also part of it, and Rolly Crump was another famous Imagineer that was on it. So it's a lot of hands. It's a really big ride. And clearly, that collaboration paid off because it's in every Disney park still.
Yeah, they did seem to strike a balance. I think that it wouldn't be nearly as popular if it was exclusively very scary or very silly. It's that kind of little bit of titillation that you get from it being a little bit dark and a little bit scary and creepy, and then you get to laugh it off with some of the clever, implementations of and designs of these ghosts.
It's a lot of fun. I've got a couple of fun facts about Haunted Mansion for you.
Oh, please tell.
I mean, those facts were all very fun, but these are especially fun facts.
Okay, these are extra fun facts.
Okay, the voice of the ghost host. So when you sit in your Doom buggy, which is what they call the ride vehicle, you sit in your Doom buggy, the ghost host is voiced by Paul Frees. Do you know what else Paul Frees voiced?
No clue.
Have you ever had a croissant?
Yes?
Have you ever had a Pillsbury croissant?
Oh, I thought you were going to tell me that he voiced a croissant.
I mean, essentially, yes.
Okay.
He's the voice of the Pillsbury Doughboy.
Wow.
He's also the voice of Ludwig von Drake.
Wow.
Red, yellow, green, red, blue, 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 red, yellow, green, yellow, orange, red.
He's
red.
got quite a vocal range.
I know, right? And he's the voice of the Pirates Auctioneer on Pirates of the Caribbean.
Wow.
Show him your starboard side, dearie.
Right.
That's him.
Right.
And he's a million other pirates in that ride and a million other things in Disney movies, and he's been everywhere. And the last fun fact I'll leave you with here is if you're ever riding Haunted Mansion and you're looking at the wait times and you're not sure, you're waiting for a 5-minute wait, it's never going to happen.
Why?
You're never going to have a 5-minute wait. Before I tell you why, I'll tell you the other ride in all of Disney World that will never have a 5-minute wait.
What?
Tower of Terror.
The other spooky ride.
The other spooky ride. The lowest that they will go is 13 minutes.
Ah, I see what they
spooky
did
number.
there. Yeah.
Yes, a spooky number for a spooky wait.
Very, very cool.
And if they're being silly with a silly wait time, then you know it's only a 5-minute wait. You know, they wouldn't be silly if it was more than that.
Well, I love Haunted Mansion. This was delicious and frightening, the kind of balance that they achieved in the implementation of the ride itself.
Indeed. And I hope that you enjoyed this virtual ride through and that someday you get to have a spooky ride through of your own.
I've brought you a tray of mints, for your breath is frightening.
Wow, thank you.
Thanks, I guess.
Breath is frightening.
Yeah. A quip, a jest on my part. I wanted to make a silly, frightening pun. All apologies.
No, it was a good one. It was a good one. You don't have to apologize.
Well, look at this. These look good. We've got a dream card mint once again.
It's a spooky dream card.
Is it?
Yes, it's not really.
It's not really. It's actually, it might, full disclaimer, be a leftover mint from another episode that we forgot to do.
Oops. Well, we didn't forget to do an episode.
It's scary that we forgot to use this dream card.
Yes, exactly. It was a discarded, beautiful dream card that we just have never used for some reason.
And the idea that it would languish forever in a Google Drive is frightening.
Also, if you came upon this creature in the wild, it would be very scary.
That's true. We're looking at Bagheera, Persnickety Panther. Bagheera is a 6-cost, uninkable emerald character with 4 strength, 4 willpower. He quests 4/2.
He is evasive with the ability Protect the Man Cub. When you play this character, you may banish chosen opposing damaged character.
And the flavor text is, this will take brains, not brawn.
Incredible. I love Bagheera as a character, and I am so upset that he doesn't exist in Lorcana already.
Yeah, I feel like this kind of fits with the emerald theme of banishing damaged characters and some of their big-bodied evasives. So, you know, kind of fits in some existing themes. Just a really solid, playable Bagheera, right? You have a similar stat line to Don Carnage with the 4/4 quest for 2 evasive. For 1 more ink and making it uninkable, you tack on that ring the bell effect that you can banish a damaged character.
Yeah, I think it's a super powerful card. I like that it's uninkable. I think that helps to balance it a little bit, makes it a little more fair, but still, it's a card I would not hesitate to put into an Emerald deck.
We didn't mention that Bagheera is a Storyborn mentor, so if that ever becomes relevant, then Bagheera would see extra utility as a mentor. I wonder if they'll ever do anything with mentors.
I would love to see a green steel mentor deck.
Yeah, bring it about. Make it happen.
Give us some fill.
Hire us. We'll do it for you.
We'll do it. We got it.
We'll
no
do
problem.
it. We've been making these dream cards. We'll make more dream cards. We'll make them real cards.
We'll make you a whole deck. We'll make you cards.
Hey, at us, Ravensburg. Oh.
at us, Ravensburger. And it's a super rare. Did we say that it's a super rare?
It's a super rare.
Can you imagine this in a foil? Come on now.
It would look sick. We'll
Looks
post
so
this
sick.
on all the socials so you can see how sick it would look.
Oh yeah, let's get back to these candy corn flavored mints. Boo, boo, boo.
That was me playing the organ.
Very good, Rebecca. That was really great.
Did you like it?
You seem like you are in your element. I've never seen you so happy to be so scary.
I love Halloween.
I guess so. Well, thank you for a delightful meal. We're excited to go out into the crisp, cool night.
Yeah, thank you guys both so much for making it such a fun and spooky evening.
You are very welcome. Until next time.
Ha 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 ha.
Whew. It was so dark in there.
Yeah, I'm very glad that we've got the lights on again.
What do you think they're going to have on the menu next week?
Well, this time next week we'll be in Seattle.
Wow!
I know.
On the left coast, baby.
On the left coast again. We just left the left coast in August.
The land of pearl jams.
Is it?
Yeah, Seattle.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's where they originated.
the land of coffee beans,
The heart of grunge.
grunge, and rain, apparently, and the Space Needle.
I really like the Seattle Supersonics, Sean Kemp, Pearl Jam, the Space Needle, and Rain. So I think I'm going to like Seattle.
Who's Sean Kemp?
Sean Kemp? Oh my God. Sean Kemp was a powerful dunker for the Seattle Supersonics in the 90s. He absolutely lit it up in NBA Jam. Anyway, that's for our NBA Jam podcast. Boom shakalaka. Find it on all of...
No, it does not
It does not
exist.
exist. No, one podcast is
It does
enough.
not exist.
One podcast is enough. Next week, we're going to talk about Seattle.
Yeah, we are. We've got all kinds of cool stuff coming up for Seattle. We just signed up for side events a couple days ago.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing a first chapter sealed. You're doing a little constructed warm-up on the Friday.
Yep, little 3-round, kind of get the feel in the bones, get ready to go.
Main event on Saturday, and then most likely maybe some sealed on Sunday. Maybe we'll do a competitive constructed. Maybe we'll just walk around Seattle and eat some cool food.
Maybe we'll still be playing Lorcana. Who knows?
We're going to do our best to get that episode out next Monday per usual. We will be traveling that day, so no promises, but at the very latest it will be out on Tuesday. Thank you for your patience.
We're going to get to packing up now and prepping all of our snacks for our big trip here. So in the meantime, make sure that you're following us on all the social medias, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram.
Email us at s'morcana@gmail.com.
We love hearing from you. And as always, keep on snacking, y'all.
Yum yum.